Hi there, my name is Alex, and in this video I will show you how to use the new MyQ7 Leader platform to do the team scan of your team. To log into the new workspace, if I've already logged in before, I need to go to my.q7leader.com and use my email address. If you've already registered to the platform before but you don't remember your password, please feel free to reset it by clicking on this link. Or if you have any troubles logging in, please check in the guide in our knowledge base to see what you could do. If you have never registered, you should receive an invitation in your email from the address welcome@q7leader.com that will allow you to create your account. Please verify that this email has not landed in your spam in order to be able to retrieve the invitation. Now I'm logging in as Dax, who is a manager of 5 team members, but is also a head of production. First, I will land on my dashboard, where I will see some of my personal information in this part. In the part of the team members, I will see all the people that I have access to, my team plus the people from my department. Here I can filter by manager in order to see only my team if needed. If I click on the name of one person, I can see their information as well as all the tasks assigned to me for this team member. By clicking on the 3 dots, I can open their TeamScan individual profile. In the part My Agenda, I will see a summary of all the tasks assigned to me during this talent cycle. Notably, I see that I have to do 5 profile scans, 1 for each member of my team. Completing these tasks will also help the HR team understand that I've done my work. Now I will do the profile scan of James Bond. So I will just click on Start Now, and I will land on the first question of the profile scan. So the first part of the question is the expectations for the team member's role. So this part is already answered and you're not able to select another option because this one depends on your company's expectations from each of the roles in your company. So in this case, I can see that James Bond is in implementation management level. So if I need, I can read more. But when it comes to my work, I need to answer the second question, which is the operating mode of my team member. So now that I know what are the general expectations of the role of James Bond on the left side, I can choose where do I see James Bond operating against this level. So if the expectations is on level 4, implementation management, I can simply open the definitions of implementation management and see whether I see James Bond to actually operate at this level. If I'm not sure, I can always open the definitions of the previous and the next level, so coordinator and operational development, and read those definitions to be sure that that James Bond operates at the correct level. So I'm going to make my selection. I will say that he does indeed operate at implementation management level, and I will go to the next question. In here, I need to review the competence of my team member regarding to the expected role. So I have 3 levels of competence. I have the level in development, developed, and developing others. In the development part, I have starter and confirmed, and each of them has some extra selections that you need to do afterwards. In the developed, we can see that I have experienced, and in the third part, developing others, I have specialist and guru. If my team member is new to the role, so they've been here for less than 3 months, I can select new, so which means that I'm not ready to decide on the competence level for them at this time. So I can read the definitions for each of the levels, and I will make my selection. So for experienced, I see that he's full level, creative and effective, totally independent, and team player. I have some doubts for the team player, but I want to read more here so I can be sure that he's indeed in the experienced category. So demonstrates the full level of the competence of the role, uses the required skills, and so on. I will read the rest of the definitions. If I see, for the most part, James Bond in this area, I'm going to open my selection and make sure to check the sub-options. So here I have experienced 1, rarely needs guidance and actions determined are most of the time appropriate and achieves objectives autonomously and starts improving practices and procedures. If I read the other definitions, I might land on the experience 3. But if I'm not sure between 2 levels, for example, experience 3 and experience 2, in that case, I'm going to choose always the lower level. And this is always the case for any of the questions in MyQ7 Leader. So if you have any doubts about competence, performance, or any of the other questions, you always choose the lower level. Next, I'm going to continue and go to the next question. So the next question is the performance. In here we have the three levels again. We have below expectations, meets expectations, and above expectations. And of course, if your team member has been in the role for less than 3 months, you can select new. So here, based on the general descriptions, good standards, high standards, excellent, I can guess more or less where James Bond is, but I can of course always read more to see the rest of the definitions. So I'm interested in the high standards, and I'm going to read strong performer with all objectives achieved, meets all role requirements while exceeding several, or consistently delivers against high standards with all-round strength in all capability areas. So I would say that he's indeed in high standards. I will just in case check the excellent level just to be sure that I'm not missing some. So I have a doubt about the behavioral standards because James Bond could be quite a prima donna sometimes. So I'm going to go with high standards because I'm not absolutely sure that he's in the excellent level. So I'm going to select high, and I'm moving to the next question. By the way, if at any point in time you would like to write a note to yourself, you can always do that by using the notes, by clicking on the three horizontal lines here. So in here I will find the notes, and I can click on take a note. I can write a note. Don't forget to add your title. And you can also choose a note type, but this is not obligatory, so you can choose it as a to-do or a summary or one of the management practices. So I'm just going to click save, and I will exit the notes to continue with my profiling. So the next question is the talent and potential matrix. So I need to see how much potential do I see James Bond to have to jump into a higher, more complex role in the next period. In particular, for James Bond, I don't think he has a very high potential to move into a next role. So I think that he's rather an expert in his area, but I don't see him moving into a management position or something else. So I'm just going to read the definitions for the part that is on the left, which indicates high performance. So high performance is here, and low potential. So I'm going to just check key contributor first to be sure that he might be in here. So he's a very good performer that you wouldn't want to lose, seen as expert in his own area, unlikely to move outside of own area of expertise, seen as role model in engagement, attitude, behavior. So I do have some doubts in here, so I'm just going to read the definitions in the other levels. So, okay, contributor, delivers at least on targets, unlikely to progress into bigger role with possibility for lateral move, most likely in the same area of expertise, and attitude area, okay, or to improve. So in terms of attitude and behavior, I do see him here, but I don't see him moving into another role. And indeed, he's an expert, so I think that most of the definitions for key contributor match the case of James Bond. So I'm going to go with this option. And of course, if I want to write something down, I can always use the Notepad, and I can add some more information here. I'm moving to the next question, which is about the vision and values. In here, I'm profiling against two axes. So one is workmanship, results, or performance of my team member, and the other one is citizenship or people. So how in line he is with the company values, how much of a team player he is, and so on. So I have a few options. Struggler is low performance and low engagement with the team, and role model is high performance and high engagement. Otherwise, we have prima donna or primo uomo that models business excellence but may not model corporate values and culture. In terms of James Bond, I think I'd rather see him here, so I'm going to select this one. But for most part, most team members, if they don't match in any of the extreme parts of this matrix, you may choose the neutral option, which is totally normal. I'm moving to the next question, which is about report. So this question might already be answered by HR, so HR might already have this information, but this question is for you. So whether you're aware of the remuneration level of your team members or not. If you are, then please feel free to select one of the three levels here. If you're not, then please select no clue. And I'm moving to the last question of the profile scan, which is the workforce planning, in particular the risk of attrition. So in here I need to select whether I think that James Bond is likely to leave the company within the next 6 to 9 months. In the case of James Bond, I believe that the risk is low, so I'm going to select that one. And the rest of the questions have already been answered by HR, but they still make part of the profile scan, so you see them pre-filled here. So I'm just going to finish my profile scan and submit. This will also, by the way, complete the task that I had in my dashboard and will let HR know that I have done the task for James Bond. So I'm going to finish and submit. And you will see that the new profile scan has been added. If James Bond is a new team member, then this might be the first and only line that you will see. Otherwise, you might see one or more or multiple lines in here that represent the historical team scans that you have done over the past. If you are a new manager to this particular team member, but they've been profiled in the past by other managers, the older profile scans will also be available here for your consultation, so you can also check how you or the other manager have profiled them in the past. So in the individual page of James Bond, first I will see some of the individual information for him as a team member. Then I will see the persona, which is basically a reading of the profiling that I just did, so the reading of the last line. I can always read this one and I can make sure that this corresponds to how I see James Bond. If I have some doubts, for example, I read he's a strong performer with all objectives achieved. If I don't think that this is actually where I see him, then I can always go back, click on the profile scan that I created, and I can go back to the question that I'm not so sure about, and I can select a different option if necessary. From here I can just exit the scan and the option will be automatically saved and the persona will be automatically updated. So after I've reviewed the persona, then my TeamScan work has been done. Last thing that I can see are the questions to raise. So these are some smart questions that are generated by the platform that will help you think on how you could help James Bond to develop in his role. If you have something to add on these questions, you can always access the notes that you have taken during the profile scan and you can add some more in here. You can of course also edit them directly here if you want to have one whole note for the whole profiling of this talent cycle. Next, when this line has been generated, you will see that there is a global profiling attached to this line, which might be green, orange, / yellow or red. So green means area of strength, you need to consider a growth plan for this team member. Yellow means area of attention, management decision recommended, and red means area of risk, management decision required. So it doesn't mean that James Bond is a bad team member, it doesn't mean that we need to fire him, it just means that we need to make a management decision in order to help James Bond improve from the situation that he's currently in. The next task that I need to do is to create the development scan. So the development scan is a questionnaire that contains the questions or the definitions based on the general expectations for James Bond's role. So in this case, it's implementation management. If you remember, during the profile scan, this was the first question that you needed to answer against the operating mode, but these are the expectations of the role of James Bond. So here are some definitions that will help me understand how is James Bond positioned against the expectations of his role, and by answering them I might also come to see some ideas on objectives that I might want to set for James Bond. So I will just quickly answer these questions, but please feel free to read them in detail and make sure to answer them correctly for your team members. So I will just make some quick selections and I will click save. This will create a development scan. So as I said, the development scan might help you see how is James Bond operating against the expectations of his role. So and this will also help you validate the question on operating mode in here. So I see that James Bond has 4 areas of development here. And for those areas of development, I might think of some objectives that I want to create for James Bond. And I can also see the percentage of area of development and areas of strength that are linked to the TeamScan here, which are basically the responses that you have just given on the development scan. Last but not least, there are the management practices in the individual page, which are some advice or ideas on how you could best manage a team member for the expected level. So in this case, the management practices are linked to the level 4 implementation management, since James Bond is in a level 4 implementation management, and will help you understand how you could best manage a team member in this role. Last, from here I can go to the general overview of TeamScan and I can see all the people that I have access to. So in this case it's 12 team members in total, although only 5 report to me. So if I want, I can also filter here to be sure to only see my direct report. So I can go to select filters, choose the filter relation, manager, and this will display only the team members from my team. So here I can have a general overview of my team, and I can also access the insights which will be filtered on the results from the profile scans that I've done for my team. So here I will see some smart questions that are also linked to the smart questions in the individual page that we saw before, but I can also see some general charts, distribution charts, insights, and the 9-box grid that are always filtered on my team. So here I can see some interesting graphs that might give me some insight on how my team is performing in general. So this is all about the TeamScan and what is expected from you during this talent cycle. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.